Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, a report published by Israel's state comptroller criticizes Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF for its conduct prior to the 2014 Gaza war. Palestinian militants loyal to President Mahmoud Abbas clash in Lebanon with Palestinian Islamists linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. Russia cast its seventh veto to protect the Syrian government from United Nations Security Council action, blocking a bid by Western powers to impose sanctions on the Assad regime over accusations of chemical weapons attacks. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was criticized by Israel's state comptroller, the government's main watchdog, over what it said was a lack of preparation and cabinet consultation over a network of Hamas tunnels that confounded the IDF in the 2014 Gaza war. Released by State Comptroller Joseph Shapira, the long-awaited report accused Netanyahu and his defense and intelligence chiefs of failing prior to the war to make Israel's security cabinet aware in a timely fashion of the strategic threat they knew the Hamas tunnel network presented to the Jewish state. Ahead of the report's release, Netanyahu rejected the accusations leveled against him and proclaimed during a meeting of his ruling Likud party that his first responsibility was to take care of the security of the State of Israel and its citizens, and that no security cabinet in the history of the Jewish state was better informed of Israel's enemies.
האחריות הראשונה שלי כראש ממשלה היא כמובן לדאוג לביטחון מדינת ישראל ואזרחיה. כך עשינו במבצע צוק איתן. הכינו את החמאס את המכה הקשה ביותר שהוא ספג בתולדותיו. חיסלנו כ1,000 מחבלים של החמאס, את בכירי מפקדיו, הפלנו את מגדלי הטרור, פעלנו בעוצמה, באחריות ובתיאום מלא בין הדרג המדיני והצבאי. אף קבינט בתולדות המדינה לא עודכן יותר.
Netanyahu added that contrary to the controller's report, he supported the heads of the IDF, Israel's intelligence services, the Shin Bet, and the defense system.
בניגוד לדוח המבקר, אני מגבה את ראשי צה"ל, השב"כ ומערכת הביטחון, ששמרו ושומרים על אזרחי מדינת ישראל. הלוחמים והמפקדים שלנו נלחמו בחירוף נפש, ועם ישראל גאה בהם.
The report also pointed a finger at Israel's military, saying it had failed to prepare a proper and detailed strategy to destroy the attack tunnels Hamas established on the border between the Gaza Strip and Israel, and that it improvised ways to deal with those tunnels only as the fighting progressed. Hamas militants also used the tunnel network it established throughout the Palestinian enclave to move between positions and attack Israeli soldiers during the conflict. Since the war with Hamas in 2014, Israel has begun construction of an underground barrier along the frontier with the Gaza Strip that is meant to block attack tunnels, a move Israeli defense experts said would cripple Hamas's ability to perpetrate cross-border attacks against the Jewish state. Now to Israel's northern neighbor, Lebanon, where at least one man was killed in clashes between Islamist militants and the Palestinian Fatah faction of President Mahmoud Abbas at a Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon, where a power struggle has fueled days of violence. The En El Hilwa camp on the outskirts of the southern coastal city of Sidon has often seen factional disputes spiral into violence. Medical sources said the man killed was a civilian, while 3 other people, including a child, were wounded. Fatah militants have regularly clashed with Islamist militants in the camp, including supporters of the Islamic State, Hamas, and Al-Qaeda. The latest wave of violence began on the 23rd of February with the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, which aids descendants of Palestinian refugees, said it had suspended all services in the camp because of the violence and the fact that armed Palestinian militants have barricaded themselves within schools of the UN body.
مؤسساتنا كلها لازم تكون دائما محمية في ظل أي وضع في داخل الحروب أو غير الحروب، لأنه نحن بنحافظ على الحيادية حتى نقدر نستمر. فكل هذه بنفس المعلومة، حتى نستمر في عملنا لازم دائما نحافظ على حيادية المؤسسات عندنا، ومنطالب كل الجماعات المسلحة الموجودة حاليا داخل مدارسنا إنه تطلع بشكل فوري من هذه المؤسسات لحمايتها والحفاظ على دورها الدولي في المخيم.
On a visit to the Lebanese capital Beirut last week, Palestinian President Abbas discussed with Lebanese officials the security arrangements in Palestinian camps in the country, which are home to nearly 450,000 Palestinians. According to Lebanese security sources, Abbas has an agreement with Lebanese authorities to hand over wanted Islamist militants hiding out in Palestinian refugee camps, which is outside the jurisdiction of the Lebanese security forces, a reality that has brought about tension between Palestinian militants loyal to President Abbas and Palestinian Islamists. Now, with regard to the conflict in Syria, the Syrian government delegation led by the country's ambassador to the UN, Bashar el-Jafri, met with the United Nations Special Envoy for the war-torn country, Stefan de Mistura, as part of an inter-Syrian negotiations in Geneva. Following the 2-hour meeting, Jafri cancelled his scheduled news conference at the last minute without giving any reason and proceeded to leave the UN compound. Despite the announcement of a ceasefire brokered by Russia and Turkey and supported by Iran, a weekend of bombing and airstrikes in Syria has rattled the talks that began last week. The Syrian government and opposition have traded blame and appear no closer to actual negotiations. Meanwhile, Russia cast its 7th veto to protect the Syrian government from United Nations Security Council action, blocking a bid by Western powers to impose sanctions on the Assad regime over accusations of chemical weapons attacks during the 6-year conflict. Russia, which received veto backing from China on the matter, said the vote on the resolution drafted by France, Britain, and the United States would harm the UN-led peace talks in Geneva between the warring parties. 9 council members voted in favor, Bolivia voted against, while Egypt, Ethiopia, and Kazakhstan abstained. The resolution needs 9 votes in favor and no vetoes by the United States, France, Russia, Britain, or China to be adopted. Russian President Vladimir Putin described the draft resolution as totally inappropriate.
Что касается санкций, то я думаю, что сейчас это совершенно неуместно в отношении сирийского руководства, потому что это не помогло бы переговорному процессу, а только мешало бы или подрывало бы доверие в ходе этого переговорного процесса.
In response to the labeling of the resolution against the Assad regime as inappropriate and the veto by Russia and China that blocked the Western bid, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley accused Moscow and Beijing of making excuses for its allies' killings of its own people.
So for my friends in Russia, this resolution is very appropriate. It is a sad day on the Security Council when members start making excuses for other member states killing their own people. The world is definitely a more dangerous place. Today, the international community can look no further than the Security Council for contributing to that.
The vote was one of the first confrontations at the United Nations between Russia and the United States since US President Donald Trump took office in January. Washington, together with its Western partners, put forward the resolution in response to results of an investigation by the UN and the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which found Syrian government forces were responsible for 3 chlorine gas attacks and that the Islamic State militants has used mustard gas. Nevertheless, Russia said the results were inconclusive. Thank you for joining us. You can also watch us at TV7israelnews.com or at TV7.fi. For more updates from Israel and its region, visit our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Yair Pinto. Have a good evening, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo, located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.